Welcome to Living La Vida in Japan. I'm your host, Ninja Eddie, here with a special interview. Now, check it out. Today, I have a special interview for you all today. But before we get to that, let's talk about my sponsors. Let's talk about Shuriken t-shirts. You can buy Shuriken t-shirts at teesprings.com. Shield of Honor, The Secret of the Tsar. It's an adventure fantasy book that takes place in the past. You can buy that on Apple, Amazon, and many other stores. Now, without further ado, let's get to the show. Now, check it out. Welcome back to Living La Vida in Japan. I'm your host, Ninja Eddie. Now, we're going to do a little things different today because usually I talk about my crazy shenanigans that happen in Japan, but today I wanted to do something different. I wanted to interview someone. I have a special guest today who just finished filming Kadia the Awakening that will be shown in theaters all over the US, possibly the world in 2019, next year. He's also directing, he's also a director, an actor, a writer, and right now he's currently directing Spooky Shenanigans that will appear in October. Without further ado, my good friend, John Quigley.
Hello.
Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going? I'm good. How are you?
It's been a while, man. I can't remember the last time I saw you.
It's been a long time since you jumped ship.
Yeah. I actually remember I finished Othello. That was the last play I got to do in Ohio. And I remember I was house sitting for one of the grad students at Ohio State. You remember that? And I asked you.
Yeah, you were dog sitting.
Dog sitting too.
You said that.
Yeah. And I asked you, and I remember I asked you, hey, dude, can I stay at your house? Because I had no place to stay. I would have to go back to Chicago. And the only reason I had to stay one more night was because my play was ending that very day. So, it was either that and drive who knows how long it would take. I would get to Chicago at 3, 4 a.m., 5. It's not a good idea. So thank you for that.
Oh, of course.
I remember we were watching TV, random TV, and I got to say, hey, man, I'll see you soon.
Yeah, that was,
3 years later, I'm not back yet.
I had like that giant bottle of hot sauce, and I was like, you know what? I bet this bottle of hot sauce, I can speak. I bet this bottle of hot sauce will still be here when you get back. I just finished that bottle of hot sauce a couple weeks ago. So someone's not holding up their end of the bargain.
Soon, amigo, soon. So tell me, how did you get into Kadia the Awakening? How'd you get into a movie? You got an IMB credit. That's very impressive, amigo.
Thank you. Yeah, I found the auditions on a Facebook page. There are a number of Facebook pages for, theater auditions, film auditions, and I follow some of the Columbus, Ohio specific ones. And yeah, I went and auditioned. I auditioned for one of the main roles, and I didn't get any of those. But they kept my information along with a lot of other people's for extras to appear in a battle scene, and that's the majority of what I did in relation to Kadia the Awakening.
That's pretty cool. It's a starting gig. You never know. That's the first step. Is always the toughest. How long did it take for you to film?
Well, the nice thing about being an extra for that scene was that it was pretty much the stuff I had to do was all in one day. So,
how'd you get into acting?
When I was little, I always sort of liked the idea of being an actor, and I started acting in school. It was interesting because my school was really small and it was a very new school. So it didn't have a lot of programs when I was really young, when I was like, first, second, third grade kind of. And I mean, even going up, it was still, the school was still growing. But the reason my school started having any kind of drama was because drama as in drama department, not school drama. There was plenty of that too. Uh, but my mother was actually pretty heavily involved in making there be a drama club. So I have her to thank for that. Um, but that's sort of what kicked. That was my first sort of experience in acting, was doing just sort of after school sort of. I think there were theater games, and every now and again we do a play. Um, but yeah, that's where it started. I kept doing theater throughout uh, elementary school, high school. Um, there was a brief period where I don't know if it was I sort of lost interest, or if it was just that there weren't as many, like the school wasn't doing as much stuff. But for a while I didn't, for I don't know, maybe a year I didn't do a whole lot of theater stuff, and then right around, oh gosh, I don't know, 10th, 11th grade, I really got back into it, and that's kind of when I decided that I wanted to keep doing it, and chose to major in it and got my degree in it, and now here I am.
And now you're directing your own play, Spooky Shenanigans. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, Spooky Shenanigans is a short play. So it's a short play that consists of three, for lack of a better term, really short plays, um, that sort of go one after the other, and eventually, and there's sort of an overarching story uh, to all of them. But I got the idea for it, uh, funnily enough, from a play called Seven Ways to Say I Love You, which is a full-length play that consists of a lot of small stories that sort of play in tandem. And they'll do part of one here, and then do a couple other short stories, and then they'll come back to the other one, and then they'll do one of the other ones. And so I really liked that format, and I wanted to see how I could apply it to Halloween, because I've loved Halloween my whole life, and a lot of the short plays that I've written have had sort of a Halloween or a supernatural sort of spooky comedy aesthetic. um,
Yeah, I do. I know you love Halloween. Your parties were always off the hook. I remember every year I look forward to your Halloween parties.
yep, we always manage to have a pretty good time around Halloween.
And Christmas too. I mean, I can't. You're there was good stuff. I remember I had a lot of fun.
Yeah. My family likes to host parties, so that was always nice, because we got to have something fun to look forward to around mostly Halloween and Christmas. Every now and again there'd be something like New Year's, but yeah.
So, what do you prefer now that you've done acting and directing? Which one do you prefer to do?
Um, I think I think the first love will definitely always be acting. Uh, and it's sort of funny, the way I ended up directing was really out of necessity, because you write your own things, and a lot of the time, if you want your things that you've written to be done, you have to sort of do it yourself. So I sort of started directing out of necessity, but it's grown on me, and it's definitely something I'd like to continue doing. Uh, I just had my first experience directing something I hadn't written. I was actually an assistant director for a short play in a Young Writers Festival at Mad Lab Theater, which is where Spooky Shenanigans will be showing. Um, but that was my first time directing something that wasn't something I'd written, and uh, it was interesting doing that because in addition to it being a play that I hadn't written, I was working with a bunch of other people um, in the behind the scenes aspect. So I wasn't being the director as well as the costume designer and the lighting designer and the assistant director and the stage manager, um, which which was nice because. Now that being said, I love doing my own shows and I love uh, doing things the way I've been doing them, which has mostly been, I write it, I have the reservation at Mad Lab, and then I find people to be in it, and we all come to my basement, which you are seeing part of here, uh, and we rehearse.
Yeah, I that's one thing I miss completely is that the rehearsal time, the building ensemble. I remember our first play, that we wrote
Hmm.
together, Phantom of the
Oh
Radio,
yeah.
like that also Bushido, like
Oh
those two
yeah.
plays, like
Sorry, I don't know why. I of course remembered Bushido, but for some reason it like sort of came back to me all at once.
let me tell this little story real quick about Bushido. Like for those that don't, obviously you don't know because people are
Mhm.
watching right now. John and I, when we, our first year at Ohio State, I remember I heard about that they were doing plays at the theater in Ohio, like a very small space. Maybe fits maybe how many
Oh
people, John?
gosh, yeah, I
60,
think it might have fit 60 people.
50. Like it's a small theater, but the point was that you could create your art, your whatever you want to do. They give you the opportunity, the space, but you have to come up with a good idea, obviously, and you have to know some people too. They're not just going to give the space to anyone. So John and I said, let's write a play right after one of the classes. I remember we were every day, every Monday to Wednesday, Friday outside the library, Thompson Library. We would stand there and just throw ideas to each other. I remember one day, John, I said, hey, I wrote a play.
Yeah.
So one night I wrote like 30, 40 something pages because this and the original play, the name of the story was what? The Way of the
Oh
Sword?
gosh,
Was
was
that the
it?
name?
I think it was. It all started with a sword. I think that was sort of the working title before Bushido.
Working title. And then yeah, then me, I always love Japanese culture. Like you knew I was gonna be here some way or somehow because I always talked
Mm.
about Japan, even though I've never visited here. So I called it Bushido because it's represents the samurai shield, the samurai way of life. So I always remember that story. And then we came up with Phantom of the Radio, of sort of a parody on Phantom of the Opera, which we actually did a musical. Of all things, me and you did a musical, John.
Yeah, that. How did we manage that?
I don't know. We like for those that you don't know, we we came up with the music, we came up with the lyric, we came up with everything. John and I for the whole summer. That's all we did. We worked on songs and the play itself, and it sold out like both nights. It was sold out, and I remember when we were done, I looked at John. What did we just do? I don't know.
We made it. That's what we did.
And that like that, I missed that. And oh yeah, we also did a film that got first place. Payback.
Oh yeah, Payback. Also filmed in this basement.
Yeah, also filmed in his basement and pretty much your whole house, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. We use We used down here. We used the backyard.
Terrace up there.
We used my mom's old van.
Pretty much your house was pretty much the work.
Mm-hmm.
So like for those of you that are trying to start a film or write a play, you have to take the initiative. John and I weren't given anything like, hey, here. We had to work for our space because it took, how many years did it take for us to finally get the space? Like 2-3 years?
Something like that, yeah.
I remember I told John, like, trust me, one day they're going to be asking us to do it. And sure enough, it happened. I said, this play is going to get produced. I know it. It's a winner. And then, I did some short plays. You did your own short plays too. And, we worked together. We worked separate. Like, we learned a lot from each other. And that's what I love. That's what I miss the most about theater and doing films. It's just the fun. It was just fun for me because we would shoot pool and so many random stuff we would just randomly do. Just hang at your house or hang at my house.
Yeah, there was always something. Or we'd be like out in the middle of the night, like at a Mexican restaurant or something, drinking margaritas and talking about play ideas.
Hey, for those of you, those are the best way to come up with ideas because you don't know what crazy things come into your head. I remember John would say, hey, how about this? Or I would say that, and we would just build on that. It was just so crazy. It was good times. So for those that are in the Columbus area or Ohio area, where can they go watch Mad Lab?
Well, Mad Lab is it's a theater in the, I guess it's in the downtown area of Columbus, and the show only runs for one night. It's part of a series they do called Friday Night Afterwards, and it's a short play that'll be shown as like a post show to what their main show that night is. And it's the kind of thing don't quote me on this because it could change, or it could be different, but I believe the way it works is you can either come to the main show and pay a little bit extra on the ticket fee, or you can just come after the main show, around 10 o'clock or so, and pay something like $6 for a ticket just to see the short play. And that's where I've done 2 plays like that previously, and so that's it's been a really good platform for doing this, and I've gotten off track, but yeah, Mad Lab Theater in Columbus, Ohio. That's where my short play will be showing.
On October
12th, sorry.
October 12th. So for those of you in the Ohio area, or even the United States, if you want to check out an awesome show, Spooky Shenanigans is in Columbus on October 12th, Mad Lab Theater. I will post the link so you can check out the website. And also check out John Quigley. I'll post his actor page that he has. So you want to check him out. He's an awesome guy. To John, for your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's been too long, man. It's been too long, man. One day you'll come to Japan, or I'll go there. Anyhow, I'll talk to you later, man. Hasta luego. Matane.
See ya.